Less talking and watching, and more playing, please.
Here we go.
You want me to be honest when it comes to my experience with the Final Fantasy 16 demo. Even if you don't want me to be honest, I'm going to be anyway, because I was completely and totally bored for much of this demo. I mean, there's so much watching and listening, and then a cutscene to somebody else talking, and then a cutscene to somebody else watching somebody else talk, and then a cutscene to just push the stick forward to run through the environment. And by the way, the character's going to run, jump, duck, and crawl automatically, so just hold that stick forward. There's so much watching to get to this point here that you're watching, where you actually do something that feels like an action RPG. And I will say that this game feels less Final Fantasy to me than almost any Final Fantasy game I've ever played. That might be the intention. You might be saying, hey, that's Square Enix's goal when it comes to creating this brand new take on Final Fantasy, moving forward into the action slash RPG genre, because let's be honest, most people, including myself, like real-time combat as opposed to the turn-based combat. However, it took so long in this demo, and I'm only critiquing the demo. I'm not saying this game is going to be boring, because a game like this can't be truly demonstrated by cutting it up into a small section and then serving it to people in a demo like this. However, Square Enix did choose to cut it up in this way, and that's what I'm going to critique. First of all, way too many Quicktime events. There are not just Quicktime events, folks. There are Quicktime events, then there are Quicktime events within the basic gameplay. Then there are Quicktime events called cinematic events. It's just 2023 Quicktime events. Come on, let's get past this. So right off the bat, once I saw those Quicktime events, I was like, just give me a break. I don't want to play a game where I don't want to play a game where I'm just sort of like, press this button because this great thing is happening right now, and we really just want to show you the flash and the graphics as opposed to letting you play the game. So right there, I was sort of taken out of it. Now, this section was the section that sort of came together for me and pulled me into the game. And I got the idea of what actually the game was going to be like, what actually the traversal and the environments would look like while I was playing the game. And it is very fast and very fluid. There's a basic lock on. Again, so far, very basic gameplay. Lock on, hack, slash, use a magic attack, use a combination of those, block, or use a modifier with R2 held down. That's essentially it. I'm not saying that's all there is to the gameplay. This is just what I got to do in the demo. Did it feel groundbreaking? Did it feel like the next generation of Final Fantasy, or some huge leap into the future when it came to video games? No, it doesn't. It feels like every other action RPG that I've played. In particular, at times it really felt like The Witcher 3. And that's where I kind of felt like, I want this personally, for me, to feel more Final Fantasy than just every other sort of medieval styled action RPG. And that's another critique I have. And this is a personal one. I don't feel like this setting really speaks to Final Fantasy. It feels like Ivalice. If you played that Final Fantasy, that world, a lot of people critique that world for feeling less Final Fantasy, more medieval, sort of the King Arthur styled world. And I don't like that in Final Fantasy. And that's just my own personal critique. The world probably opens up. It probably gets much bigger and much better, much more grandiose, a lot more things to see and do. And I get that. Bear in mind, I'm only talking about the experience that you're going to have with this demo. And my experience with the demo didn't really excite me for Final Fantasy 16. I'm still going to get the game. I still know that there's much more to it than this demo, but it just didn't do it for me. Graphically, it looks good, but again, it doesn't look groundbreaking. Something else. When you open a door, some doors you just press the X button to open. Other doors that are bigger doors, heavier doors, you have to press the X button and then pull and hold R2 because the door is so heavy. It's just this tacked on way to use the DualSense controller, and I've had games that utilize the DualSense controller in so many better ways than this. Again, it's just a demo. This is just one way that they're utilizing it. Are there others? I'm sure there are, but I'm only basing this video on the demo, and that's the experience I had with the DualSense controller. I'm like, okay, a QuickTime event, a cinematic QuickTime event, a QuickTime event for no reason. Press the X button. Now pull the right trigger because the door is too heavy or it's heavier than the last door you opened, and that way we can utilize the DualSense trigger. Give me a break. Do something different. But times like this, you drop in, you get into the combat, it's fast, it's fluid, it's very, very different for Final Fantasy, and I think that's where a lot of people are going to have either, an issue, or they're just going to say, I like it, it's great, it's a great new direction. And it's not that Final Fantasy shouldn't have, real-time combat. It should. Turn-based combat, and this is just my personal opinion, it's time to just let that go. It just doesn't work for me. I love real-time. I love the ability to move around, use your tools. It just feels better. It lends itself more to an actual video game as opposed to just sort of, like playing chess or something like that. And I get people like that. But for Final Fantasy, just with this setting, I don't know, would it be better if it was a more fantasy-esque setting? Would it be better if, I was a wizard with a cape or something like that, using magic, and the world was more colorful, and it was more, again, instead of the King Arthur's court time period and setting and style, it was more fantasy-esque a la Fable or something like that? Maybe then it would feel more Final Fantasy to me. But again, that's just a basic critique that I have based on the style and the setting. But overall, the demo is just okay, folks. It's not something that screams this is the game of the year. And personally, I feel like this was a bad choice of chunks of gameplay to put together for a demo of this game. Show me more of the open world environment. Show me more of the fantasy-esque styled gameplay. And maybe they didn't want to do that. Maybe they wanted to hold it back for that release. And I get that. Again, just the demo, underwhelmed, not very exciting, tons of watching, not a lot of gameplay, QuickTime events, cinematic QuickTime events within QuickTime events. Not something I found compelling when it came to this next generation Final Fantasy PlayStation 5 only game. However, once the game releases, I'm hoping, I want to be completely and totally wrong. Let me know what you think about the demo. Do you like the setting? That's the thing that's sticking with me the most. I'm not sure I like this King Arthur's court styled medieval setting for Final Fantasy. I just don't connect with it. Let me know what you think about all of the talking, the exposition in this demo. A demo is supposed to be chunks of gameplay to get you excited, not story after story after story and cutscenes and QuickTime events and then a basic area to just hack and slash. I don't feel like this demo was put together very well to represent what Final Fantasy 16 is going to be. But if you disagree, let me know down in the comment section below. If you're one of these Final Fantasy nerds out there who thinks, Square Enix can take a shit, put it in a box and call it Final Fantasy 27 and you're going to say Game of the Year, just get out of here. Think about the like button, think about subscribing, and I'll see you in the world of Final Fantasy 16 when it launches. But I'm out of here when it comes to this demo. By the way, why does Shiva look like this? What happened to sexy Shiva? It's okay to be sexy and be a female in a video game, folks. Please, 2023, can we get out of 2023? Maybe 2024 will be a little bit better. I doubt it. Again, thanks for watching the video. See you in the next one.